in your home.
And welcome to your one-stop breakfast show on television. Good morning, Abia, right here. And of course, it's a Friday edition of the program right here on MCLtv in Abia State. I am Ruth Ohans. I will be your anchor person on today's program. Well, of course, some days to election, just say not even up to 1 week, and Nigerians will be going out there to vote the person they want to represent them in all aspects of government, talking about presidential, gubernatorial, and of course the legislative positions. So the question still is, like we always ask on the program, are you ready for the elections? And next week, Nigerians will be going out there. Do you have your PVCs? And talking about PVCs, well, INEC is saying that today, being the 8th of February, is the deadline for the collection of PVCs. So, what are you still waiting for if you don't have your PVC? What are you still waiting for? Go out there and collect. Well, I must commend INEC. They have been sending text messages to people across the Federation. I got one yesterday, and I must say INEC is really serious. They mean business. So INEC means business. Do you mean business? Or would you just act indifferent and passive to the electoral process and then come out to complain, talking about leadership, and go on social media and other platforms to say, we don't like this person, we don't like that person, he's not doing well, she's not doing well. Now you have the chance, opportunity, and of course you have the platform now to vote in that person or to vote out that person. What are you going to do with that opportunity? Those are questions we are throwing to you or at you this morning, asking you to go out there and get your PVCs, get ready to vote. Your vote is your power, your opportunity to make a change. If you really want to create or make a change, you have to be the change yourself. And how are you going to be the change? By actually going to get your PVC and going out there to vote. Not sitting at home and say, you know what, it's not my business, it's not my problem. Whatever gets in there is really not my problem. I mean, how is it affecting me? It affects you and I, it affects our economy, it affects our well-being, it affects the standard of living. Trust me, it affects us in every ramification if only you'll be truthful to yourself. So that is the question this morning. Are you ready? Have you gotten your PVC? Today is the deadline. So quickly, move out there, get your PVCs and get ready to vote. And that's the words this morning to spoil you. Meanwhile, you know what we do here. We educate, inform, and of course enlighten you on what's making round in the world. And of course, we give you words that motivate you for the day and of course the week. And today on the words Sanabu, we have James Q. Adams, and it says, patience and perseverance have a magical effect before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish. Patience and perseverance have a magical effect before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish. James Q. Adams. Of course, Adams is telling us this morning that patience and perseverance have a magical effect before which difficulties disappear. When you find out that when you are actually passing through a situation, a particular condition, if you really persevere, if you are patient, if you set a goal for yourself and it seems like that goal is unachievable, Adams is saying be patient and be perseverant. Just persevere, have perseverance, and it has this way of turning difficulties into abilities, and impossibilities become so possible. When you are patient and you know that one day these problems will end, the problems have a way of disappearing themselves and obstacles vanish. So the main thing is the attitude towards the problem. Now, what is your attitude towards that situation? What is your attitude towards that mountain? What is your attitude towards that giant on your way? If you are having a pessimistic attitude, well, trust me, you'll be so impatient. You love to look for a shortcut. And you know what? Shortcuts cut short. It cuts short your life, cuts short your destiny, cuts short your ambition, your goals, and your purpose. So this morning, Adams is saying, patience and perseverance have a magical effect. So do not give up on that particular situation. Do not give up on yourself, because one day the difficulties will disappear if only you can be patient and persevere. And those are the words of Mabel this morning, spurring you and motivating you to become a better person, to have a better personality, and of course, to always inspire you to continue and carry on your activities, even as you go to your places of work, your endeavors, your shops, or your offices. Or if you're there already, I'm sure this will inspire you to actually do better today. And quickly we'll move to the news, telling you what is making news and of course things that have been happening in the world. And of course we move to the details of the news. The federal government yesterday alerted that the country is facing a new dimension in the insurgency challenge and called for increased support for the military. Government said joining of forces by factions of Boko Haram and Islamic State from the Islamic State's West African province, ISWAP, has changed the form and shape of the insurgency war. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Mohammed, disclosed this at the launch of a new campaign to galvanize public support for the military in the fight against insurgency, titled National Campaign in Support of the Military. Spokesman of Military Services were at the event. The minister said the military is contending with terrorists who are trained fighters and no longer fighting those he called ragtag insurgents. He held that the ISIS likely dislodged from Iraq and Syria. There is undoubtedly a flush of fresh fighters and weapons to Israel. Therefore, the military is fighting a global insurgency without the kind of global coalition, including the United States, that battled ISIS in Syria and Iraq. Mohammed accused some Nigerians of not appreciating the new challenge facing the country and the military. He said the decision to enlighten Nigerians on the need to queue behind the military was devoid of politics. He also sought the cooperation of the media in the fight against insurgents. On his part, defense spokesman Brigadier General John Najim pleaded with the media to show restraint in the dissemination of some information and noted that some stories have the capacity to trigger fear and panic in the society. And pupils of 104 federal government colleges may be asked to proceed on a break by Wednesday as a result of the February 16 presidential election in the country, sources at the Federal Ministry of Education have said. The anticipated holiday would allow pupils to stay safely at home and prevent them from becoming victims of unrest associated with the election period. When contacted, the Federal Ministry of Education spokesperson Mr. Ben Gun said the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, would take a formal announcement on the holidays for the unity schools at a briefing scheduled to hold on Friday. Sources, however, said the holidays for the election period could most likely commence on Wednesday. It was learned that the unity schools might not reopen until after 4th of March, when the governorship and houses of assembly elections would have been concluded. And residents of other states have reacted differently to the approaching general elections in the country. While some say they are prepared for the elections, others are not. Ihonayo Koyo went round about and reports.
dị m njikere ọwụ mbịa tụcha vootu onye ma tụrụ vootu ori aganye onye ahụ.
The Aba Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, ASIMA, has held her 2019 manifesto presentation. The event is meant to bring the captains of industry and the private sector face to face with the candidates of political parties to fully appreciate their action plan if elected. MCL News was there. The report. The event featured the gubernatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the governor of Abia State, Dr. Okeze Ikwazu, who took time to read out his achievement as a governor. He also took out time to highlight his manifesto and made assurance to transform Abia State if re-elected.
This government has attracted an investor that paid $1.6 billion, which was what never back to the public. The level geometrics function. So today, through marketing, the Abia shoemaker and garment maker is no longer an obscure entity in the economic map of Nigeria. That power in area has powered more than 3,000 shops for the past 1 year uninterruptedly, and they are prepared to develop provided they agree in the area. My position is with the people. If they come with conditions that are not agreeable, my people will change to the next option. The thing for me to do as government is to provide our options. I am not satisfied with just answer for power. I look forward to a day when our people will have the option of either EDC or gas powered electricity or geometrics. Get it and cheap, just like we have network. You go for it.
Highlight of the event was the interactive session where participants aired their suggestions, commendations and questions, which was addressed by the gubernatorial candidate.
So Your Excellency, please put it in your program so that we will need a lot of our professionals to provide, to become a backbone for this your industrial dream. Otherwise, we will lack semi-skilled labor like electricians and the electronics people to maintain these industries.
I recall that within the first 100 days, this government launched what we call Education for Employment. We have 34,000 youth, the largest data in this country, of youth segregated according to age, local government, skill set, qualification, and their vision, what they want.
The president of ASIMA and other guests at the event thanked people for coming, highlighting the essence of the event.
Notice the country has grown. People have become more sensitized. People have become more informed about the state of affairs. People are more aware of our environment. Therefore, there is need for them to know the person that's going to, or the person that says that they're going to represent them, what package that the person has to offer in order to see them through in the next dispensation. Taken by economicity is going to employ 700,000 young Abians. The liberal footwear factory is set to hire 3,000 Abians. We have never had it in this state. And I'm proud that this particular government has performed much more.
The manifesto presentation affords major private and industrial players in the city the opportunity to transform on volatile issues bothering commerce and industry within Aba. Ruth Ohams. 5 people in the internally displaced persons IDP camps in Monguno, Borno State were burned to death at an inferno which consumed the settlement yesterday. It was also gathered that about 2,000 households were affected in the fire outbreak. The fire started at about 11:30 a.m. yesterday, gutted the camp, which provided shelter to hundreds of people displaced by Boko Haram. According to reports, the cause of the inferno had yet to be identified as at press time. The Bunguno IDP camp houses many IDPs from several communities around the Lake Chad Basin. The incident at State Camp injured dozens, with thousands rendered homeless. A rescue worker source who was affected by the inferno said it was an unfortunate day for the people of Bunguno, especially the IDPs occupying Stadium Camp. The inferno lasted about 45 minutes, killed 5 people, and those who died were 3 children between the ages of 0 to 6 years and 2 female adults. A few weeks ago, Governor Kezibazu promised the reconstruction of Stella Marish Road, Umodu, to the delight of residents and people of the area. Work has commenced. Ruth Umodu reports.
Stella Marish Road, Umodu, located along Osisiama, before now has been in a deplorable state, but is currently undergoing reconstruction. The project is coming on the heels of the visit by Governor Okeze Ikpeazu to Stella Marish Church, a popular place of worship in the area. A visit to the work site revealed that construction is ongoing and in progress since Monday. MCL News spoke with the manager of the company and the site engineer.
Yeah, it's a 160-kilometer road. We are doing the drainage and then asphalt. In less than 2 weeks, we should be through from here. We are doing the normal concrete, which is grade 25. We are using chipping, sand, and cement. So whatever, once it's grade 25, the construction is a very good mission and it will last.
On the drain, we don't have too much. It is about 200 meters there. 2 weeks from the date of kickoff. So we're looking at 2 weeks to make sure that we are done and put everything in place. Make it accessible for the.
It was observed that the drainage channels were of major concern in the construction. Some road users and shop owners had this to say about the road.
The state of the road was not good. But now when the drainage is here, it will be good. They will be feeling comfortable to pass. Motor will pass, other people will pass. It will be good than before. We are seeing a very nice improvement.
It was in a deteriorating state before the governor came and promised that he's going to repair it. And I've seen that the construction has just, which means he's fulfilling his promises. All we just want is for him to finish it within the shortest window so that we can equally make use of it. You have seen now that we are finding it difficult to move, but I know that in the next 1 or 2 weeks, it will be okay.
It's not motorable at all. They only stop so that they can finish the work. Motor will be going. We are very, very happy because we've been suffering here for past how many years now. By the grace of Almighty God, we want them to finish it because people are suffering and people are complaining too. But we want the good things, that is why.
It is expected that handlers of road construction in different parts of the city would hasten up the work before the rain set in fully for the good of Abians. Ruth Wodo, MCL News.
With that, we've come to the end of the news, but more news will be coming your way after the break with the newspaper review. Just stay with us.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Are you a plumber? Do you have 3 years experience in the job? Do you have good experience in store management and purchase? Then quickly apply to the management and Etona Hotel at number 6 Margaret Avenue, GRA, Aba, Abia State.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV. Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV. Show on TV. One-stop breakfast show on TV.
Welcome back, and you're still on to your one-stop breakfast program on TV, Good Morning Abia, and it's about the time to review or see what the papers are saying this morning. We'll start with the Daily Sun. We'll start from the top right corner, and it comes with a headline that says, Federal Government Desperate to Destabilize Us, says Ohaneze Ndibo. Federal Government Desperate to Destabilize Us, Ohaneze Ndibo says, alleges marginalization of Igbo in police postings. You can read up that story on page 12. Away from that, 2019, Nigeria votes 8 days to February 16. And of course, you can see that ballot box and paper. 2019, Nigeria votes 8 days to February 16. Atiku shakes President's Castina, promises jobs, security. Peter Lementhal, the former Vice President of Nigeria and presidential candidate, the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar. And of course, President Buhari dares Atiku at home. Buhari dares Atiku at home, promises Adamawa Taraba development. With the picture element there of the presidential candidate of All Progressive Congress, APC, and the President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. And of course, you can read up the stories on pages 10, and of course, on page 10 actually. Underneath that, you're seeing a screaming headline, PDP APC fight over foreign observers. PDP APC fight over foreign observers. Opposition party deceiving US, UK, EU, says RFI. APC plotting to orchestrate violence, says PDP. PDP APC fight over foreign observers. Pages 6 and 8, those are the pages where you can read more of that story to know how they are fighting, talking about the two parties leading, the PDP and the APC, how they are fighting over foreign observers. A picture element can be seen underneath that of the APC presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari, and of course that was in Taraba State yesterday when he was addressing a mammoth crowd during his campaign. President Muhammadu Buhari addressing the mammoth crowd during his campaign in Taraba State yesterday. Finally, ASU suspends strike. Finally, ASU suspends strike is a cheering news right there. At least students can actually go back to school and continue education. So I must commend federal government and ASU for actually making this happen. Finally, ASU suspends strike. Reagan should attract international sanctions, says Governor of Rivers State, Wike. Reagan should attract international sanctions. Don't set Nigeria on fire, Absulami Jonathan Kuka caution politicians. Don't set Nigeria on fire, Absulami Jonathan Kuka cautions politicians. Caution politicians. And of course, pages 7, 39, and 6 respectively, those are where you can read up details of those headlines there. Court issues arrest warrant against ex-NIA DG wife. Court issues arrest warrant against ex-NIA DG and wife. Pages 4 and 5, go read it up on those pages. And of course, we'll move away from the front page of the Daily Sun to the back page of the Daily Sun. And of course, we have seen the picture element there of the Super Eagles player and Middlesbrough player also, Mikel Obi. Mikel escapes plane crash. Mikel escapes plane crash. Wow, that's a very good one there. We thank God for the life of Mika, for saving him from a plane crash and for helping him escape actually. And Juro Onabule, Differences of 4 Years, is a column there, and the title is Differences of 4 Years, and you can read up that column on page 47. Public Sphere is another column underneath that, coming from Onoha Uke, and it's titled 2019 Elections, the Choice Before Nigerians. That's the second part of the story. 2019 Elections, the Choice Before Nigerians, part 2. It comes with the picture element of the President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. And of course, quickly we'll move to the Nation newspaper. And of course, let's see what the Nation newspaper has for us this morning. On the top left corner there, government launches campaign to boost troops' morale. Government launches campaign to boost troops' morale. And of course, we've seen a picture element of the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed there. And United States has no presidential candidate, says envoy. United States has no presidential candidate, says envoy. And of course, pages 6 and 44, those are where you can actually see details of the stories. Jonathan preaches peace is a headline that comes, a story that comes there, a headline on the top right corner. Jonathan preaches peace. ASU suspends strike after deal. ASU suspends strike after deal. Navy arrests man with 145 PVCs. Now, what would a man be doing with 145 PVCs? Just like we've been saying, and of course, telling people, do not engage yourself in vote buying or vote selling. And of course, a PVC is your right. Go and collect your PVCs before we start seeing this kind of stories. And Navy has arrested man with 145 PVCs. Wow. And of course, something on sports. Seeing a picture element there of Alexi Wobi, and it comes with a headline, a story that says Eagles drop in FIFA ranking. Not a good one there for Nigeria when it comes to sports. Eagles drop in FIFA ranking. Pages 7, 9, 5, and 47. Those are where you can read up details of those stories respectively. Away from that, government to court. Dismiss MTN's 3 billion naira suit. Government to court. Dismiss MTN's 3 billion naira suit. Bayelsa warns against violence is another story beside that. Bayelsa warns against violence, pages 8 and 4. You can read up the stories on those pages. And of course, you can see bold headlines there underneath that, those stories. SAN quizzed over $30,000 in CJN on Northern's account. SAN quizzed over $30,000 in CJN on Northern's account. Still talking about the case of Mbatu CJN, Chief Justice of Nigeria, on Northern. EFCC grills Agi over payment of $10,000 thrice. EFCC grills Agi over payment of $10,000 thrice. SAN is referee at account opening. SAN is referee at account opening. And of course, you can read up that story. If you want to know more on that story, go to page 6. Underneath that are two pictures, picture elements, and of course, some of the suspected IPOB members after the arrest by soldiers. Some of the suspected IPOB members after the arrest by soldiers yesterday. IPOB sit-at-home order. Soldiers, traders clash in Aba market. IPOB sit-at-home order. Soldiers, traders clash in Aba market. And of course, to know more about that story or on that story, you can find that on page 41. Atiku promises Katsina more jobs, security. Police ready for polls, says AG IG. And of course, if you want to know more of that story or about the story, page 9 is where you can find details of the stories. And we move away from the front page of the Nation newspaper to the back page of the Nation newspaper, where we are seeing today in the Nation, coming from Olukorede Ishao. It says, I want a president who will give us new songs, not songs of sorrow, not songs of despair, but songs of joy. I do not want a president like Samu Sangudu in Adebayo Williams, the remains of the last emperor. So Olukorede wants a president that would actually give new songs, not songs of sorrow, not songs of despair, but songs of joy. Comment and debate is a column coming after that. It's coming from Shegun Badegashin and it's titled 2019 Election and National Values 1. 2019 Election and National Values, that's the first part. And it comes with two picture elements of the two presidential candidates of All Progressive Congress APC, talking about Muhammadu Buhari, who is also the president of Nigeria, and the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, who happened to be former vice president of Nigeria. And away from that, we're seeing Hardball, JK's Quixotic Freedoms is the title for Hardballs today. JK's Quixotic Freedoms. Now, what is it trying to say? We'll get to the Nation newspaper Hardball on the back page. And away from that, we've seen a character. It's titled Repos. Evans, please burnt me with cigarette to make me confess. Evans, please burnt me with cigarette to make me confess. And we've seen a man there responding, ordinary cigarette? You're lucky they didn't feed you with human excreta. Ordinary cigarette, you're lucky they didn't feed you with human excreta. And that's all for the Nation newspaper, and we actually move to the last but not least, that's talking about the New Telegraph newspaper this morning, where we are seeing feature elements of first the governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, and a gubernatorial candidate, former gubernatorial candidate of APC, also talking about Hope Uzodinma, still of the Imo State origin. Well, Okorocha, my government owes no bank in the world. Uzodinma, you are a liar. Imo State owes 312 billion naira. Okay, Hope Uzodinma is actually the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Imo State. Okorocha is saying, my government owes no bank in the world. Uzodinma retorts, you are a liar. Imo State owes 312 billion naira. Okay, talking about banter of words between two politicians in Imo State. Away from that, we're seeing a picture element of APC ASU chair, and it says, ASU suspends 14-week strike as lecturers resume today. ASU suspends 14-week strike as lecturers resume today. And we're seeing Professor Gunyemi there, his picture element, and you can get that story on page 32. DSS arraigns INEC officials for stealing PVCs. Not a good one there for INEC. Officials of INEC stealing PVCs. Well, lots of stories are unfolding as the elections are drawing nearer, and I'm sure more stories will unfold, talking about vote buying and vote selling, and of course buying of PVCs. DSS arraigns INEC officials for stealing PVCs. The story can be found on page 9. 6 held for stripping, robbing pepper into ladies' private parts. Well, a video actually went viral of a lady who was humiliated for actually stealing a phone, and of course we are very happy that the perpetrators actually have been brought to book, talking about those who humiliated the woman, stripped, robbed pepper into her private parts. And of course you can get details of that story actually on page 9. FIRS targets 85,000 million tax defaulters. FIRS targets 85,000 million tax defaulters. We can see a picture element of the FIRS chair there, Fowler, and the story can be found on page 30. Away from that, we're seeing a bold headline still on the INEC election, talking about election in Nigeria. Polls: 5 die in Buhari's campaign rally stampede. 5 die in Buhari's campaign rally stampede. President: I'm pained by APC supporters' tragic death. Governor's convoy attacked. Supporters killed in Taraba State. Not a good one there. But you know what? The election must go on. We can see two picture elements there of first Atiku's crowd in Katsina State, and the second is Buhari's crowd in Taraba State, but still a picture element of the president there and the APC presidential candidate cheering his supporters in Jalingo, Taraba State yesterday. Army deploys 95% of manpower for election duties. This is a story you can find underneath the picture elements there. Army deploys 95% of manpower for election duties. VHQ would treat civilians in military uniforms as terrorists. Would treat civilians in military uniforms as terrorists. NSA, we won't compromise security. If we won't compromise security, please on lookout for vote buyers. Please on lookout for vote buyers. And of course, you can find details of that story on page 4. Study reveals cutting calories will boost your sex life. Something right there on health. Study reveals cutting calories will boost your sex life. So today, start cutting down on foods that have calories. And of course, you know the importance right here from scientists. You can read up more that particular story on health on page 32. Moving from the front page to the back page, where we are seeing something on sports. On the 20 AFCON, Aibogun targets World Cup slot. We can see the coach of under 20 their team, Aibogun, and of course he is targeting World Cup slot. Ifunai Okoye will tell us more when it comes to the sports segment right here on Good Morning Abia. And you can get that story on page 38. Turning bedroom to war room. Turning bedroom to war room is coming from Michael West, who is a guest columnist. And you can see a picture element there of a lady who actually is sitting in the press and saying, I never bargained for this mess in marriage. I never bargained for this mess in marriage. Turning war bedroom to war room. And of course, before we actually round off that, we are seeing on Mabel coming from Victor Hugo. It says, the greatest happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved, loved for ourselves, or rather, loved in spite of ourselves. The greatest happiness of life is a conviction that we are loved, loved for ourselves, or rather, better still, loved in spite of ourselves. So the greatest happiness you can ever get is the conviction that you are loved. Loved not for what you have, not for your materialistic position or things, physical things, maybe you're handsome, beautiful, tall, rich, whatever it is, but love because you are a human being and because you have a good heart, or love because you are actually human. Not being loved to be used as a means to an end, but as an end in yourself. Well, that's all for the papers, and of course you can grab one or two or even 3 of the papers, and of course read up more, know more the stories that actually we actually read out to you this morning, the headline, talking about the headline. So this morning, we are going to be saying a little, or talking a little about what the story is, the headlines there. And of course, Ohanes and Debo is saying that, or they've said that federal government are desperate to destabilize us. I do not know how they got their proof or what their evidence are, but I think Ohanes and Debo actually, just like they've been actually raising alarm this week. So I think maybe something should be done or seen into the alarm they have been raising. Let's know if these alarms are just, just things that they're saying just to get attention, or there's a rumor or there's an atom of truth in what they are saying. Well, PDP and APC, are seeing them fight over foreign observers, and of course, lots of people have been dying in campaigns I don't think this should be stories that we should be hearing at this moment in time. I think these we should be hearing more positive stories, like the candidates saying we'll do this, we'll do that, not deaths, stampedes, and lots of bad stories. And PVCs are being stolen, just like we saw on the paper. A particular story took it, that's New Telegraph on page 9. We saw DSS arraigning INEC officials for stealing PVC. And of course, we related to what happened on Sunday in Abia State, where an INEC office was burnt, and now an INEC official or INEC officials have been actually arrested for stealing PVCs. And a man was actually gotten with 145 PVCs. Now, these are PVCs yet to be collected, and some of them may have been going to the INEC office to say, I want my PVC. Now, this is a call to action. This is a call for people not to sit down anymore and say it doesn't concern me. If you have not collected the PVC, please go to the INEC office and say, I want my PVC. Of course, you know today is the deadline, just like we told you before we started the program, or well, when we started the program rather, we told you go out there and get your PVC. Now we are seeing lots of PVCs being abducted, some being stolen, and officials being arrested. DSS arraigning some, and other security agencies arresting other people, civilians actually, who have been taking PVCs. Now, if there is any headline or story that actually caught your attention, the phone line is on for you to call us and, of course, contribute and tell us your take on the stories that you heard this morning, or the stories that you actually we reeled out this morning. So if there is any that actually caught your attention that you would love to talk more on, or talk about, or share your contributions with us, the phone line is on. You can get us on 081-774-57728, and of course we're right here to take your call and discuss with you. Some days to election. How ready are we? PVCs being taken. DSS arraigning officials of INEC for stealing and taking PVCs. A man being arrested because he was caught with 145 PVCs. Now, what is he going to do with the PVCs? Those are questions we ask. And of course, whose PVCs are those? These are PVCs of people who took the strain and the pain to participate in registering, and of course, standing for hours at INEC office, only for the PVCs to be taken and abducted by people for purposes of general elections. Well, with that, we've come to the end of the newspaper review, and we'll go for a break. And of course, the sports will be up next, the sports segment, and of course, that will be with Ihunaya Okoye. So don't go anywhere, but we give you the latest and what is happening in the world of sports. To stay with us.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Do not deface Abia State with posters. Do not defecate on our streets. Do not litter Abia State.
My brothers, I say wetin man go do for this world where people no go talk. If you chop,
Do not urinate in public places.
you no chop, then go talk. What we make we do for this world? I say, make we dey do the things where we carry for heart. Now so world want that. I be not be so.
Keep Abia State clean. This message is brought to you by MCLtv.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Guy, you know that yellow papa wey dey our street where so?
Wait, which one? That one where they trip for me? Now my babe now.
Free me, Joe. If you no get money, hide your face. I hide my face.
Come, now me you talk like that. Guy, I be big boy. You see this TV so? You know how much I buy am? 200k, see this one. You were poor like Osho the market rat.
True, now me they call market rat. See all those Gucci and Pate where hush puppy they show for Instagram so. Now me buy am for am.
Guy, you know e-money? E-money na my boy. Money where you dey spray, now me give am.
See this one oh, you know that Linda Cage house for Banana Island? Now me dash her.
That one a house? Maybe you know OBO Davido. That 30 billion where dey your account. Now me borrow am.
Forget it. You see that snake where swallow jam money? Now me send am. Now CBN they go next.
Tuale baba. Ah hello, Tuale. Where it dey?
True. Bros, you just had a lie. Eat them my back. Hey, what's in this?
Oh yes, you can now purchase MCL decoder and also pay for your subscription at our corporate office located at number 9B Obibo Street opposite Keystone Bank, or MCL outlets located at number 2.
Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Enyimba lose again in the Nigeria Professional Football League. The Flying Eagles of Nigeria, I'm talking about the Nigerian under-20 male national team, will take on Niger Republic in the final Group A game of the ongoing Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations. And the maiden edition of the Taekwondo Open, Nigeria Open, kicks off today in Abuja. You're welcome to the sports segment of Good Morning Abia. My name is Nayo Koye. I'll start with the Nigeria Professional Football League Match Day 7 results played yesterday. Nasarawa United in Lafia beat Plateau United 2-1. Niger Tornadoes beat Sunshine Stars 1-0. They have a new coach now in Hamza Abara, so it's a good start for him. Tornadoes humbled Sunshine Stars as Wiki Tourists of Bauchi beat Enyimba 2-1. Enyimba are yet to record an away win this season. Others have gotten theirs. I wonder when Enyimba will get their own points or even a win away from home this season. Okay, we have here that the 8th away win was actually recorded by Akwa United this season. That was yesterday as they beat Yobe Desert Stars 1-0 away from home. Their first away win this season. Okay, we look at the log now in Group A. MFM lead with 12 points. Wiki Tourists are second with 9 points. Rivers United are third with 9 points. Sunshine Stars are fourth with 8 points. Enyimba Football Club of Aba lie fifth on the log with 7 points. Okay, we look at Group B. FC Fanyoba lead with 14 points. Heartland are second with 12 points. El Academy Warriors of Maiduguri are third with 12 points. Go Round FC are fourth with 11 points. As Abia Warriors lie fifth, just like Enyimba, with 10 points on the log in Group B. You know that the Nigeria Professional Football League is in a bridge one this season. We all know what happened last season, how it was concluded. You know, it was inconclusive actually. And this season we have 24 teams, and that's why we have more games, and that's why they're playing Wednesday and Sunday every week. So it's an abridged league of 12 teams each, Group A and Group B. Okay, we move now to the Africa Cup of Nations on the 20 level ongoing in Niamey, Niger Republic. And we can tell you that Group A games will be concluded today as Nigeria take on the host nation, Niger Republic. The time is 4:30 p.m. Nigeria need just a draw to ensure a qualification for the FIFA Under-20 Men's World Cup coming up in Poland later in the year, precisely May this year. Okay, Nigeria against Niger Republic. The other fixture will be between South Africa, known as the Magitas, against Burundi. The time is 4:30. That means both teams will play, both fixtures will take off simultaneously. Okay, we have in Group A, Nigeria lead with 4 points. Niger Republic are second with 2 points. South Africa are third with 2 points. Burundi are fourth with 1 point. The group, talking about Group A, is open. Any team can still make it to the next round, but Nigeria need a draw. Okay, we look at what the coach of Nigeria on the 20 male national team, Paul Agbogo, is saying. He said that his team will give their all today to ensure that they come out with a victory against the host nation, Niger Republic. It's not going to be easy for Paul Agbogo-led Flying Eagles against the Nigerians. I told you in one of our programs here that the Nigerians are strong. physical and tall. They know how to play physical football, so it's not going to be easy for Paul Aimogun-led Flying Eagles. Okay, from there we look at the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They have dropped 2 spots from 44th to 46th and are ranked 4th in Africa following the latest FIFA World Rankings released on Thursday. That means that Super Eagles of Nigeria are now ranked 46th in the world and 4th in Africa. That's the situation. Now, the 3-time African champions, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, are behind the Teranga Lions of Senegal, Carthage Eagles of Tunisia, and Atlas Lions of Morocco in the ranking of African teams. Egypt, who the Super Eagles will face in a friendly game in March, are ranked 57th in the world and 8th in Africa. At least Nigeria are better off compared to the Pharaohs of Egypt, who are the hosts of the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. Well, we have here the top teams in Africa. Senegal are on top in Africa, followed by Tunisia. Morocco are 3rd in Africa. Nigeria 4th. Democratic Republic of Congo are 5th. Ghana are 6th. Cameroon 7th. Egypt are 8th on the log. Burkina Faso are 9th. Mali are 10th. These are the top 10 ranked African teams. Meanwhile, there are no changes in the top 5 countries in the world occupied by Belgium. Belgium lead in the world. France are 2nd. Brazil are 3rd. Croatia are 4th. And England are 5th. That's the world ranking for you. But you know that the Super Eagles are ranked 46th in the world and 4th in Africa. Okay, from there we look at this tragic development where Dorset police have confirmed that the body recovered from the wreckage of the crashed plane at the English Channel is that of Cardiff City player Emiliano Sala. Now it has been confirmed that Emiliano Sala is dead. Now, Salah, who is 28 years old, was traveling to Cardiff in a plane piloted by David Ibbotson, which went missing over the English Channel on January 21. And the Argentine's body was recovered late on Wednesday after the wreckage was found on Sunday morning. Condolences have since been pouring in from footballers, coaches, and others for the late Salah. Meanwhile, it has emerged that Salah's former club, French League On side Nantes, has demanded Cardiff City pay his £15 million transfer fee. Salah was Cardiff's record signing but never played for the club. The fee was due to be paid over 3 years, but Cardiff have withheld the first scheduled payment until they are satisfied with the documentation. Now, his pilot on that fateful day, Mr. Ibbotson, who is 59 years old, is yet to be found. Seriously, I don't know how this happened, but the man you're seeing on the screen there, Emiliano Sala, who is 28 years old, is no more. He is dead. Okay, we move on to the final story I have here today. That is in Taekwondo, where the Made in Nigeria Taekwondo Open kicks off today at the Abuja International Stadium. Now, 150 participants from 15 countries, which include Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Congo Democratic Republic, France, Gabon, Ghana, Guadeloupe, Mali, Niger Republic, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, Togo, and USA are now in Nigeria for the competition. Now, ahead of next year's National Sports Festival, the Minister of Sports and Youth Development, Solomon Dalong, has praised the facilities put in place by the Edo State government for the hosting of that competition, the National Sports Competition. But you have to know that the Taekwondo Open kicks off today in Abuja. 150 participants from 15 countries will take part in that competition. I hope Nigeria does well. I hope they make us proud in that competition. Okay, that's it on today's sports here on Good Morning Abia. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My name is Ihonayo Okoye. I hand you back to the beautiful Roots.
Ihonayo Okoye, thank you very much for that update in the world of sports. But before we actually let you go, Ihonayo, I actually was, I got attracted to some things you read there, some topics here, especially that of Enyimba, because it pertains to us right here in Abia State. So why is it that, what are you, to you, to that opinion or your idea, you're a professional when it comes to the world of sports? Yeah, of course you are. You have to give it to you. You are our sports journalist.
Thank you.
So why is it that Enyimba has not yet been able to get a win? You read out the clubs that have been able to get a win, and of course, back in the days, we know these are the clubs that even feared Enyimba as a club. Now, why is it that Enyimba, who always sets the pace, is now being the one being dragged? What could be the reasons behind this?
Well, I think it all boils down to the coaching crew of Enyimba. They should do something about it, because if this is an abridged league of 12 teams each, teams are getting points in away victories, and Enyimba have not gotten any. They lie fifth on the log. At the end of the day, 3 teams will be relegated, if I'm correct. 3 or 4 teams will be relegated. So Enyimba, as it stands now, fighting relegation. They need to be up there, at least in the top 3, so that they could be able to play the top 6, playoffs at the end of the day to determine the overall winner. Now, Enyimba club management, the coaching crew should work extra hard. I saw Abdullahi Osman, the coach of Enyimba last season, and people were like, he's good, he knows he knows more about coaching, because he stayed in France almost in his career. He studied coaching in France. He was there. He played for some teams there. So he's experienced. Probably, I don't know the reason. He got some players and added to the old ones, but we've not really seen them do fantastically, to say, away from home this season. But however, the league is still somehow fresh. Let's hope that one of these days Enyimba will get us an away victory. We
hope so too, because we know Enyimba, those days Enyimba used to be one of the clubs that you look up to.
Definitely.
That made us very, very proud. I can remember one particular win they had. I think it was the one that they actually competed with Egypt or thereabout, and Morocco, one of the North African countries.
Clubs,
and of course we were very, very happy that particular night. So we want to see Enyimba back on his feet once again. And also, Nigeria had dropped from FIFA ranking. Wow, 46th in the whole world, and of course 4th in Africa. I mean, what happened? What happened?
Because they've not played competitive, games. They played the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. It's not enough, because they've not really faced the big, teams in the world like France, Brazil. When you beat those teams, France, Brazil, Argentina, England, if you beat them convincingly, now people will say, wow, this team is coming up. Okay, they will give them more points. But at the moment, Nigeria are just playing the qualifiers for the Africa Cup of Nations 2019. They've not really engaged in any, grade A friendly since after the World Cup. So probably that was the reason. But at least they did well. They are up there above the Pharaohs of Egypt, who are the most successful, team in Africa when it comes to the Africa Cup of Nations. So it's a good leap. It's good. If you ask me, at least they're not really falling way down. They are still there from 40th position to at least 46th. At least let's see what happens. Probably after the Africa Cup of Nations, that's when we'll now know if Nigeria, if they do well in that competition, we now know, what FIFA will do about it.
4th place in Africa. I mean, who are the teams who are?
Senegal are there. Senegal are on top of the ranking, and you know that Senegal are a strong team. When you look at the tag team, they have quality. Tunisia, they are also doing very well. Morocco, in fact, some people are saying they're the best in Africa at the moment. So if you ask me, I think Morocco should even be there on top. Above all these other countries.
So Nigeria has Senegal, Morocco, and the rest of them to compete with, in order to be the first in Africa. Okay, wow, this is a very... But I believe in Nigeria. I'm sure they would actually do well as well.
Let's hope so. They've already qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. The dead rubber game coming up against Seychelles is of no value, but they are playing friendly against the Pharaohs of Egypt. Same month of March. But we are looking forward to the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations that will be hosted by Egypt. If they do well in that competition, seriously, I don't see any reason why they will still be ranked 4th in Africa and 46th in the world.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Ivan Ayokoye, for that information. And I'm sure our viewers at home have been actually enlightened with the way you expatiated, and of course you dissected the world of sports. Thank you very much, Ivan Ayokoye, once again. While you're still on to Good Morning Abia, one-stop breakfast program on TV, talking about MCLtv right here in Abia State. We'll go for a break, and when we come back, it will be time for us to discuss. And of course, you also be part of the discussion when the phone line comes up. Meanwhile, don't go anywhere.
one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Do not deface Abia State with posters. Do not defecate on our streets. Do not litter Abia State.
My brothers, I say wetin man go do for this world where people no go talk. If you chop,
Do not urinate in public places.
you no chop, they go talk. Wetin make we do for this world? I say make we dey do the things wey we carry for heart. Na so world want am. Abi no be so?
Keep Abia State clean. This message is brought to you by MCLtv.
Good morning, Abia. Your one-stop breakfast show on TV. Good morning, Abia. Your one-stop breakfast show on TV. Good morning, Abia. Your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Welcome back, and in case you're just joining us, well, this is Good Morning Abia right here on MCLtv television, and of course we enlighten, entertain, educate you on what is making rounds in the world, talking about informing you. And of course it's time for us to discuss, and I'll not be doing this alone. I'm being joined by Michael Ofonye, and we'll be doing this together. Good morning, Michael.
Yes, good morning, Ruth, and it's nice to be here with you. And it's 8 days to go. Nigerians will be heading to the polls. The question, and the big question we've been asking on this program is, how ready are you? Do you have your PVC? Because that is the power you and I have to change or to elect those that will be taking us to the promised land. With 8 days to go.
8 days to go, and of course, Michael Ofonye, we've actually been reading out some headlines in the newspaper today, and of course, those will be forming the discussion this morning. We'll be discussing the state of the nation. 8 days to go to election. How ready are you? Like Michael Ofonye asked you, have you gotten your PVC? Well, we have gentlemen in the house who actually, on the program rather, who actually be discussing or telling you more. They'll be telling you more about the state of the nation. And of course, we have Uche Emeku right here. Good morning.
Good morning.
And of course, we have with us here, you save your substance. Good morning.
Good morning, Ruth.
Welcome, gentlemen. Well, you are observers. You are observing. You've been observant of. You'll be following up things pertaining elections. Now, quickly, let's start with you, Uche Emeku. Okay. So far, what have you been able to observe?
Well, I think I am a bit uneasy about, the happenings in the polity, especially as we count down to the election day. I am bothered because, one, I don't think that INEC is actually ready for this election, and also the politicians themselves are not trying to help matters by the utterances. They have not been telling Nigerians what actually they have for us. They have also been taking us for a ride, because when you look at the debates organized by media house like MCL and others, you find out that some of them are not actually showing up to tell us what they have on the card for us. So I'm a bit worried. And then coming from the security agencies, especially the clampdown on certain issues, I don't think it is something that we should cheer about. Elections should be about a joyful thing. Elections should be about one's, freedom to exercise his free will towards, getting someone that will, superintend, the Commonwealth in the coming 4 years.
Okay, over to you, the substance. You've heard what Uche Emeku has said. Do you think, like he said, INEC is not ready for the election?
I share the sentiment of Emeku as well. INEC has been telling us they are ready, but on the ground, what is there? There's voter apathy because people, the information or education of the electorates has to go to get their PVC. Many people have not collected their PVCs. That's one. And the politicians themselves are not realistic. They are not telling the people the truth. You can imagine the abia media had a debate. They were asked to come. Many of them refused to come. You look at the one done by the NERG, that the presidential candidates were supposed to come and tell us what they are. The president of this country refused to attend.
We'll get to that, sir. We'll get to that in the course of the program. Michael Ofonye, I saw you actually taking up one or two of the papers, and I'm sure.
Well, the truth is, let me quickly give a rundown of my observation. I was at INEC office yesterday in Umuahia. As a matter of fact, I came in from Umuahia this morning. The phase of observation, when you get to INEC office, of course you could feel the atmosphere charged and ready. If you ask me, from what I saw, if I need to give conclusive report, I'll tell you that the INEC here is ready. But the truth of the matter is, I think we need to look beyond what the edifice, the people, the preparations. Of course, I also saw the boxes, the ballot boxes, and the rest. And it also gladdens my heart to know that in terms of security, the INEC office in Umuahia is just behind the central bank. Shows how tight it is. And after the INEC office is the office of the DSS. So it's a no-go area for anybody that wants to perpetuate trouble. That is one. But what I think what INEC should do is to find a way to disperse the PVC. I know some certain persons had already gotten text messages asking them to come.
I got one too.
And the truth is, Nigeria should find a way to alleviate suffering. One, things are not the way it is. And even when the common man decides to leave his market for a day, for 1 or 2 hours, and it gets to the point of collecting the PVCs, you still get frustrated. And so that's one of the biggest problems. There should be a way to eat. I'll tell you something. I was in Lagos last week, and the Lagos state government actually did something so they could get the electorate to be part of it. What they did was they did like a street-to-street stuff, right? They would come to Marine Road, and they would focus on people on Marine. Some people are elderly people that might not want to go distance and stand in the crowd, because when you go, there's no chair for you to sit. So you can't put a man of 40 or 50 or 60 standing. You understand? So what I'm saying is, the people here should find a way. And when I was talking to one of the electoral officers on what I think Lagos State is doing, and he said that, believe me, we know that Lagos INEC is doing that in collaboration with Lagos State's government and other parties. Because if you try to throw these, they would say you're selling votes. You see, so sometimes understanding of individuals. And I said, why not discuss to chieftain of those parties to say, look, people are not picking. You and I know what transpired in Isialangwa. What were those amount of PVCs doing at that office? So it's a question that we need to ask ourselves. 8 days to go, and we're still struggling to give out PVCs, and nobody is saying that, look, let's take these PVCs and move. The bottom line, if I come to Wala, for example, where we reside here, and I say, number one, Wala, you look at the names of people from Wala. Because this is a computerized. You can sort out. Computers can do alphabetical orders for you. They can do street orders for you. So people should not just talk to Nigerians and say Nigerians don't understand or we don't use smartphones. If you store a number on your phone, smartphone, immediately you store, it takes it to the alphabetical order of, if it is M from Michael, it takes me to M. Am I making sense to you? So it makes it easier for you to sort out if you need to call me. So I think INEC needs to find a way of distributing the PVC. Of course, we heard it that the dates for this also the deadline has been shifted a bit so people can have access. And what I also think the state governments should do is to, I remember when the PVC started, gentlemen, you guys were here on the program, that some state governor gave 1 or 2 days for people to go and do this. So I think the same thing should apply to say, tomorrow, from now till this, all work will be half day. After this, go get your PVCs. I think if that is done, that will help.
Actually, what bothers me is that even the civil society here is not taken into account when they do this thing. I mean, the civil society is an easier way to penetrate the populace. I don't know why it pains INEC to get the civil society on board to help in the dispensing of this thing. At least the civil society will not sabotage anything, because it is in their own best interest that every other person comes on board. But you see, the issue
I'm not cutting you short, sir. I'm not cutting you short. That's why you find out that in the Western world they have volunteers.
Yes,
because you can't do.
Good.
That
is the work of the civil society.
This is what you need to call volunteers. People that are neutral. You screen them. People that are neutral. And to say you're taking 700 cards to Wala. We want to get sure that this 700 cards you're giving out gets to them, and we need something to show as a proof.
Okay, so gentlemen, a particular story was read on the newspaper review this morning of a DSS arraigning INEC officials for actually.
I think to be precise, that is on New Telegraph. If the man at the control can get us New Telegraph, and that would be very great. And so yes, just to help you.
DSS arraigned INEC officials. That's on page 9. INEC officials for stealing PVCs. Now, this particular story, as people who are neutral, gentlemen who are neutral and observers, just in line also with what you said, Emeko, about INEC not really being ready. And we also read in that story, a man was actually arrested because 145 PVCs were found with him. Now, what does this signify for both INEC and the forthcoming elections? I'll start with you, Eusebio Substance.
If you won't mind, which states were those where they were arrested?
You can get that
because I know why I'm asking. Because there are some states.
Okay, Michael, it would be very good if you read out the story for all to actually hear.
All right, I think this is actually coming in Port Harcourt and River State, to be precise. It says the Department of DSSS yesterday arraigned 2 employees of the Independent National Commission, INEC, Monday, Ifesin Mama and Beso Soli before a chief magistrate court in River State. So it's actually in River State. But then, sorry, you have the floor.
Yeah, what I was trying to ask, why I asked the states, there are states where these things will happen and nobody will be arrested. I'm saying it's not a question of being parochial. The hub of maladministration or rigging or anything in Nigeria today is the Kano State. But we have not heard that anybody has been arrested in that state. It was the same in Kano State that we had people from another country, governors from another country come to campaign for somebody. By rights, that disqualifies that candidate.
Are you trying to say that INEC is partial when it comes
to INEC is not sincere. I'm saying that I have been saying it from the beginning. Mahmoud is not yet sincere. How could people from another country come into to campaign and wear the uniforms of these other people, the governors of that place, to come and campaign for a party in a country? It's not done. That alone disqualifies that party. But because
if they benefit from that party or from that country, won't they come and show their loyalty?
You understand? No, it's wrong.
Well, if you ask my opinion to these, you see, we play politics with everything, gentlemen, and that has been.
Must we play politics with everything?
And that has been one of our greatest problems as a nation.
I agree with you.
When you see that Igbo man is wrong, and you say, oh no, the Igbo man is not wrong.
It's not wrong.
When you see an Hausa man is wrong, you say, no, the Hausa man is not wrong. When you see Yoruba man is wrong, because if you and I take a look at it, how did Boko Haram started? It started as a militant group. We played politics in it. They wanted to bring the government of Goodluck Jonathan in Babali, and now it has metamorphosed into something that even we as a nation
can no longer handle
it. You're bringing people from out of the country to come and participate. For what? Yes, if as a foreigner you live in Nigeria and you have the right, you have the Nigerian citizenship, you have the right to express yourself. But what we're saying is, if this is done in a bad, negative way, that means our border is porous.
It has always been porous. It's not that means our border is porous.
I think we should look beyond politics and think as a Nigerian on how to find solutions to this. Gentlemen, 8 days to go, and we're still holding on loopholes.
8 days to go. There will be election in Nigeria.
Oh, sure.
But the elections will be marred by rigging. I'm being sure. Listen,
I want to disagree.
How sure are you? What are your?
I want to disagree with that.
What is your evidence that the election is? But INEC has promised us a free.
The borders are open. See,
election.
the borders in the northern states are open. The borders in the south, there's no way, because you must cross Atlantic Ocean. The borders in the look from Daura to Niger Republic is just from here to that where that young lady is standing. Okay, there will be an influx. Those of them have PVCs already. They have, and they will come in.
I'll tell you one of the simply put. If you add abia Imo, Ebonyi, apart from and Enugu, it gives you a total of 6 million and something votes. That means if we all picked up our PVCs,
yes,
which I am sure that 60% could pick and 40% could not. So it gives you like 6 points. If you put Lagos and Kano, it gives you 11 points. So Lagos and Kano alone is bigger than 5 states,
yes,
in terms of PVCs.
Okay, Uchemeku, I know you want to react. So what's the reaction? Now, INEC officials are being arraigned by DSS because they actually stole PVCs. What's the reaction? I know you're an observer and you agitate your...
He's a human rights activist.
Yeah, you're a human rights activist. So you want to know your sincere reaction to this.
Yes, I've always said it that INEC has some black legs among them, among the staff. You see, where the problem starts, one, who does the recruitment? What influences that recruitment? What of the follow-up in the activities of the staff? In those days when we went into the bank, you see, we were, from time to time, you are closely watched so that if you begin to live above your income, it is noticed immediately and you're placed under scrutiny so that any little move you make, you could be questioned. You could be given a query, actually. And when you don't give a satisfactory answer as to, because they know how much you are paid, and it is not permitted for you as a banker to have any other business because it might influence things negatively. Because your employer has bought your time, at least from 8 in the morning down to 4 or 5 as the case may be. And if there is any need for you to add in overtime, you also compensated. So everything is no. So I have always believed that politicians have penetrated, the INEC stronghold in such a way that they continue to feed in people who will, at the end of the day, get their bidding. So I am not surprised. Though it is coming late, but I want them to step up the issue. And one of the security organizations I love so much is the DSS. You can be sure when they give you information, you can be sure that information is well-founded. So, it sends a very a dangerous signal. If our umpire has added himself to either side of the play among the players, then it gives us, it makes us, it's worrisome for us, and that is why I believe that one of the things that should be done, maybe in the next dispensation, that is in the, after the election, that those who will go to the house will try to find a way of, putting it into our laws or constitution that observers, good observers, their observation will also be taken into account in deciding the level of rigging, since we don't have robust institutions outside the government.
Well, I think one, Nigeria is a sovereign nation, and we cannot lay our emphasis on observers.
We have local observers.
We have no. He said something that we need to put it into law.
Yes.
Observers are there, but for us to put it into law, that means we're selling our sovereignty.
No.
Wait, gentlemen.
Yes.
I'll give you reasons. Observers' inputs, like for example, you and I heard what happened in Osun State when the American ambassador visited Osun State during the last election, and he spoke, and he was very neutral about it. He talked about the topsy survey he met while coming, and said, with this, you cannot have a proper result. That has been put into account. But for you to make it to know that, okay, the foreign observers has a say.
I didn't say foreign observers. I said observers.
Observers are there. It is
Good.
there.
Good.
Observers are there. The EU, the...
Right, gentlemen,
just there for the sake of
let's take a call first.
They are there already. We're putting it into law.
Hello,
That's
good
why
morning, gentlemen, please. Hello,
Put it
good
into
morning.
law.
Hello,
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Cecile. I'm calling from Monkey Bay Road.
All right, so let's hear your contribution this morning.
My contribution about this PVC is not where they did this is not the proper way that it has been done. A proper right way of doing the PVC is when you register, collected their cars here and there, or to be posted to your personal address or personal place where the correct address, who you really are, who you claim you are. You understand? Okay. So now, this PVC that's floating all over the country, some of them are people that come from a different state, a different country. You know? That's the way I look at it, because mostly in North, the people that are coming in from other states, neighboring states, you know, saying that they are Muslim, they are here to vote for their presidency candidate. The people they want to prefer. Automatic, that should be a cancel, no area. You know, our border is not secure and nothing is happening, and we just leave our country just open for everybody to do what they feel like doing. It's not right.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you. Well, gentlemen, you heard her. She said the proper way INEC should have disbursed the PVC is posting it to where you stay.
That's what we said. Yeah, that's what we all generally agreed here, that some people, okay, it's possible that when Mr. A actually applied, he was healthy. And if he's sick, so now he's been taken out of it because the ability not to go and pick up his stuff. But I just want to say something to what my two other colleagues said, especially when.
Okay, we have another call. Let's take it. We'll continue. Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Ladies Eji, good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen and ladies.
Good morning. Ladies Eji, it's nice to have you again.
Don't be a statement if I say law of Nigeria is viewed for one side. I'm not for general.
Why do you say so?
For example, the president of Nigeria holding a rally, inviting another country, wearing their own logo. I mean, what does this stand for? The governor of, letting the global. What do you stand for? Actually, this negative comes from this side. What will it be? That's my question.
Okay.
All right. How would it look like it? Actually, if I don't make that statement, which is I make.
Yeah. We're coming to that.
All right. Well, we'll come to that, sir. We'll address that. Thank you very much for calling, sir. Thank you for contributing.
All right. That was Lady Ezeji. Well, the truth of the matter is, those words are said, and the presidency, of course, is not in charge to screen candidates who ask, are you a Nigerian? How did you get into the country?
Sorry to cut you, Michael. We have another call. Hello, good morning. Okay, we lost the call there.
And so it's not for the presidency to screen crowd, but then we're saying that the state government should have done better. I mean, if I come to do my campaign in a CBO's hometown, and people, the neighboring states or neighboring country comes into my campaign, I shouldn't be held responsible. Yeah. Those are the points.
Okay,
of
let me take you on that. Let me take you on that.
Those are the points of borders areas should be held responsible for that. It tells us how loose our borders are. It's not for the presidency.
That's the job of the presidency.
No, it's for the presidency. Let me tell you.
Immigration is under the presidency.
Let's these two governors.
Let's take it one after the other.
These two governors.
I'll give you. Hang on.
Wait.
I'll give you. Go ahead.
You see, if you're a moderator and a contributor, you should also allow us to say something.
Oh, sure, definitely.
Good. These two governors...
You're always holding on that. She's not stopping you from
Good.
You always say
the
that.
two governors
from
Niger Republic has diplomatic passports. And these diplomatic passports, you don't use it anyhow. Even at the border, the immigration, the DSS, the NIA, the DIA would have sent signal to the presidency. Because you cannot, as a foreigner at that level, you come into the country without the presidency getting information, and you have to explain what you have come to do. Unless they are the ones inviting you into that country. And so the presidency telling me that the presidency is not for them. No, you don't really understand what happens at that level of diplomacy. They are coming. They know the purpose for which they were coming, and they tacitly approved it and begin to play as if they do not know. This is Nigeria. And some of us are also that as not to know. If you are coming to my house, I am not in the house now. Yeah. If you are coming to my house, and it is not with my approval, anyone in that house will call me to ask me whether I am aware that this person is visiting. I mean at the very small level.
Let me quickly.
And so when they came and had that toga on them of APC, they should have told them to wait. It is not wrong for them to come, but for them to come to campaign openly, they are only trying to tell us that we are fools.
Who was campaigning openly?
I mean the two governors, they stood at the podium. Maybe you have not seen the picture.
Let me explain to you, gentlemen. That's why I said, let us be very careful. You see, the Nigerian Broadcasters Commission, talking about NBC, has been sensitizing TV stations and also politicians, and it's quite unfortunate that we would appeal to them. Of course, that of the Eastern Zone was done in Enugu, and it's an opportunity for broadcasters, anchor persons, political analysts to discuss and ask questions. You cannot, the first question is, you cannot be in Aba and begin to speak, categorically speaking, for what transpired in the North. That is what. Hang on, gentlemen. Hang on. I'll give you opportunity to also report to that. 1, 2. Why I said that the presidency might not be aware. No, please. It is very good for us to clear this. Okay. Let's clarify. Let's clarify this. Okay. I'll give you an example of a truth. If a visiting president needs to come to Nigeria, he must inform the president of that country. Of course, yes. And he still has the right to say, sir, I'm not coming to see you, but I'm coming to see somebody else. I'll give you 2 examples. When Namibia president was coming to Synagogue of All Nations, he sent a signal to the villa to say, I am coming to your country, but I'm not coming to see Mr. President Obasanjo. I'm coming to see TB Joshua. That was 1. 2, when Kenya's president, before Zuma, came to Christ Embassy and also to synagogue, a signal was sent to the villa, but not for this person. We are not saying that if we see a Niger in the campaign ground, that it is right. We're not saying that. But the presidency cannot be held responsible at that spot.
No.
The presidency cannot be held for that. And that is why we are always getting it wrong. If Isibio is going to do something for MCLtv, and Isibio gets it wrong, the first point of call is Isibio, then to MCL. I think that's the way to go. Okay. If Isibio has to do something with MCL, and he talks to the crowd, and he decides to get it wrong, or the crowd faults Isibio, the first thing is Isibio, then MCL. We are not saying it is right. But the first point of call is to ask those heading the border areas to say, what happened? Okay. How did people get in? It is then, from the head it goes to the other people.
No, some of us actually went to school.
No,
Some of us went to school. And our going to school is not just for the sake of just saying anything.
Immigration is under the presidency.
You don't get what I'm saying. We are not saying that immigration is under the presidency. I'll tell you an example. I'll tell you an example. No, I'm just trying to say, look, because whatever we say here, people are watching, and we need to be very meticulous with our words. Hang on.
A governor will come into a government will come into another country governed by somebody, and that person does not know why he is coming. It is not at that level. The governor is coming to see another governor. He's not coming to see Uchemeku as a private individual. And of course, even if he's going to see me, he is also going to say why he is seeing me. And when he goes wrong, I will be held responsible. And he himself will say what he has come to do. And that is just the point we are trying to make. If you made a statement, UK made a statement, America made a statement concerning the Chief Justice of the Federation.
Let's take this call and we'll get back. Let's take this call.
Are we talking about the Chief
Hello,
Justice
good
now?
morning.
We'll talk about the Chief Justice. We'll go for the Chief Justice.
Hello. Good morning. Welcome to the program. Your name and where you're calling us from.
I am Elder Paul, calling from Omode.
Elder, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Okay, so Elder, let's hear your contribution.
Good morning.
Please, Mr. Moderator, tell your colleagues that you should allow others to say something. You didn't come to listen to me.
Elder, I'm just expecting.
You should allow to give.
Well, Elder, I'm a guest this morning. I'm also a guest this morning.
And tell us what you want to say.
Elder, I'm a guest this morning too.
Okay.
I'm a guest this morning. I'm not sitting here as a moderator.
You are giving him more time.
No, that's not true.
Don't want us to talk.
Gentlemen, it's not about talking. It's not about talking.
No, we are talking about two Nigerian governors.
Okay, let's see your reaction, sir.
Two Nigerian governors came into the country, and you are telling me the president is not aware. The presidency is aware. And what do they come to do? To campaign for a party.
Are you true?
By that presidential candidate is supposed to be disqualified by INEC.
Listen, and that is why, excuse me.
Foreigners
hang on. Excuse me. That is why I think.
We also have.
Hang on, please. And that's why I think when the other person speaks, it is good for you to listen. We just don't talk without basic facts to back up our discussion. Because whatever we say,
I have facts.
Hang on, sir. Whatever we say,
let's take the call.
No, I think we should clarify these before giving. Whatever we say, hang on, please, gentlemen. If we don't say the right thing on air, we will be doing.
What wrong have I said?
That's wrong thing.
What wrong have I said?
Emeku, I still stand to say that
the president is not aware.
Don't get. I never said that. That's
what you said.
Excuse me. I even gave you an example. I said the presidency will be notified. Will be. And I gave examples with the Synagogue of All Nations. I gave examples of Christ Embassy.
Those are two different issues.
It is not.
No, it is.
It is not.
Very, very different issues.
It is not. Because the press signal. Hang on, gentlemen.
Okay, the president was signal that I was coming to campaign for you.
Hang on. The first signal is that I am coming into the country.
To come and campaign.
You're cutting me short of my words. I am coming into the country. Once that is notified that you're coming into the country, but sir, I'm coming to see my fellow governor.
But that wasn't what they came for.
Were you part of the?
They came to the campaign ground.
I am asking you, were you part? And if I give a signal that I'm coming,
wearing APC campaign.
That's what I'm telling you. That's the first point of call. Is that to be faulted. It's not the presidency.
No, it's the presidency.
That's where.
Okay, what is the consequence of their coming to the campaign ground? What is the consequence?
That's what I'm saying.
What is the consequence?
Good. That's a good question. That is what you should be asking. The question should be, gentlemen, now that we've seen these people has faulted, they have done the unspeakable. What should Nigerians do to mention
No, the presidency. No, the presidency.
Gentlemen, we are.
The presidency
Gentlemen,
has
we've
the
run out of
presidency.
time. The time.
Well,
time is longer.
this could be discussed backstage.
Yeah, of course. And we have people who actually were
Please,
calling to actually react. But unfortunately, we truly apologize for
Can
that.
you take 5 minutes to react?
No,
you take it up tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, okay, no problem. Then tomorrow we'll finish the discussion. We'll continue the discussion, and we truly apologize to those we could not take via calls. But tomorrow, same time, 8 a.m., MCLtv is a station. We'll be having another a continuation of this particular discussion on Good Morning Abia. But gentlemen, thank you very much for actually coming today. Thank you, Mr. Michael Ofoye.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Sabio Sustenance, and thank you, Uche.
I own up to what I have said here.
Of course, you continue with your argument tomorrow. Don't worry, more time will be given tomorrow. Well, we'd love to say thank you to you also for actually participating on today's edition of Good Morning Abia, and to our callers, thank you very much. Well, tomorrow will be another day, 8 a.m. And of course, thank you. And of course, with that, we say bye-bye. I am Ruth Ohan. See you tomorrow.
MCL, the word in your home.